Queen Elizabeth II died on the 8th of September 2022 at the age of 96. She served as one of the longest reigning monarchs in the world, and at least the longest reigning monarch in the United Kingdom. However, in The Walking Dead, the zombie apocalypse occurred in the year 2010, whilst Queen Elizabeth's reign was still happening. Now, the Queen is technically name-dropped in the Season 2 finale of Daryl Dixon, when those Scottish folks say, "God save the Queen."
God save the Queen!
We get the implication that she could still be ruling over the quarantined and isolated and safe United Kingdom, but of course in the most recent episode, spoilers, 301, we see that the United Kingdom has fallen. It's completely gone. Daryl and Carol, of course, meet Stephen Merchant's Julian. And Julian, for context, is a dude who goes to explore. He clearly has all this climbing equipment and he jumps from building to building. He's able to get to Big Ben to chime its bells. So this guy's pretty agile, and I imagine because he's been so lonely for so long, he's likely explored the entirety of London. So I just want you to keep that in mind. For example, he knows the following.
Even got zebra in Regent's Park.
Now obviously the London Zoo is located on Regent's Park, but I don't know if he means the zebra is like in the main body of the park or it's just in the zoo. I'm unsure, but from what I can tell, he has knowledge that there is a zebra that's still alive in Regent's Park. And then we get Julian mentioning the Queen, just like Fiona did in the Season 6 finale. However, this time, he seemingly confirms her fate.
Have you been to Buckingham Palace? You could sleep in the Queen's bed. Might even see her wandering about. Still looks pretty good for an old squid. Her Majesty of the Mollusks.
Now, some people think this is just a joke, and he's just joking about potentially maybe seeing the Queen. But this is a guy who we know jumps from building to building, travelling around London. And if you're an Englishman and London's gone, I think one of the places you're probably going to visit and spend the night in is going to be Buckingham Palace. I mean, it's like one of the most famous royal buildings in the country. So why wouldn't you? And he's already been to Regent's Park, and he's obviously knows Big Ben really well. He probably knows Westminster quite well as well. And obviously Buckingham Palace is inside Westminster. It's not too far relatively from Big Ben anyway. But you've also got to think of it from Julian's point of view. This is the last Englishman, okay? And especially in 2010 and that kind of period, the royal family was seen quite favourably. I mean, even now they're seen very, very favourably. So what are the chances that Julian would be an anti-monarchist and he'd be willing to make a joke about the Queen being dead? I think it's quite low. I think this guy knows for sure because he's seen the Queen.
Might even see her wandering about.
So might even see her wandering about. That implies that he may be joking, right? Well, no, because Buckingham Palace is a very large estate. And again, Julian is a proud Englishman. I don't think he's killing the Queen, regardless of if she's a squid/walker or not. I just don't see him doing that. So I think quite possibly he's been to Buckingham Palace and he just avoided killing the Queen. That was the one walker he didn't want to kill.
Still looks pretty good for an old squid.
The line fully is still looks pretty good for an old squid. So obviously squid means walker. If this is a joke, why would he not add the caveat of, I bet she looks pretty good for an old squid? He says it as a sure thing, like he knows that she still looks pretty good for an old squid. And that's what leads me to believe it's not a joke, that he generally has seen the Queen as a walker in Buckingham Palace, thus making her the first real-life world leader to have a confirmed fate. I think it's also possible as well that the Queen actually died before the United Kingdom fell. That might actually explain why he is aware she is a squid. Because I'm just thinking about it practically. If a royal were to die, the monarch were to die and come back as a walker, what would the British government do? Because technically they're like undead. So I feel like in some ceremonial way they might have just kept the Queen alive if she did die. Not alive per se, as in they just kept her walker self still going. That's my theory. That's what I think happened. And that's why I think Julian knows for sure that the Queen is in fact a squid in Buckingham Palace who just wanders Buckingham Palace day after day, and if you visit it, you might just come across her. Thank you to all channel members. We got Baddie, Just Jordan, August Fisher, Rye, Austin Man, Jesus, Logan Keeley, Corey, Jack Sokel, Charles, Nova, Gamer J, Tyler B, Beatleaf TTV, That Panda, Turbo Clash G, Straight Outta Christ the YouTube TV show, Ralph Farhar, Slinger, Knox Sticks 1212, Nick Sterlino is my gay daddy, David Mulligan, and True Paranormal. And then a huge, massive shout out to my Walker slaying legends. We've got Red Lemon Cola, Kodakol, whatever comes to mind, Gavin Kelly, and Z, I hear it's Z Fungi 148, or Fungi as I like to say. Cheers. Turbo Clash G upgraded, thank you, Big Walker Slayer, cool.
Panicked under the pressure.